The new edition of Horus Heresy is finally out, and loadouts are contentious. I had some other kitbashes done, but as of recording, I have no idea if they're legal. Instead, let's focus on a couple of kitbashes for a unit I know is going absolutely nowhere. Apothecaries.
The Primus Medicae has been moved to Legacies.
Welcome, Traveler. My name is Blake, and this is Love, Death, and Dice. Even a naughty murder man needs a band-aid every now and again. With over 140 infantry in my Night Lord army and a galaxy-spanning war going on, that's a lot of boo-boos. So, today I am building 3 totally healthy and well-adjusted doctors to take care of my boys in Midnight Clad. When I made my big Night Lord Kitbash video last year, there were some complaints about the lack of flayed skin. I hear you, I see you, I disagree with you, but I will satisfy that craving. For our first apothecary, let's start with the Skin Thief body from the Night Lord's Kill Team kit. With the body built, reach into the Primaris Apothecary kit and grab the hip-mounted tool panel. Once cleaned up, glue it to his leg. Luckily, the Chaos Legionaries and Primaris kits share the same square back mount, so power packs are easily interchangeable. With the pack mounted, I grabbed the sharpest and most aggressive looking arm tools and glued them in place. Paired with the flayed skin apron, malice is the only thing his patience can feel. You could use the chain glaive that comes with the Skin Thief kit, but I also want to modify his silhouette from the base Skin Thief model, and I don't like how the chain glaive obscures his lovely flayed skin. For this, I dig into the Fabius Bile kit and steal the cane and injector gun. Will this medical gun fit in the holster? Probably not, but who will notice, especially under a macro lens? The cane does extend further than the feet, so you will need to cut the bottom trim. Once our basing material is in place, it'll only appear slightly buried. As for the head and shoulder pad, I used a Mark VI power stud pad and my standard Puppets of War bits. Ensure the head is positioned in the same direction as the tools to maintain the natural motion of the pose. I love the way his legs are posed for an attack while leaning on the cane. It looks like he's skulking around, cowardly collecting geneseed and more material for his apron. He's kooky, he's not so kind. He'll flay your skin without a second thought. He's Talos Valkorian, Soul Hunter. Prior to his escapades in the modern era, Talos served as an apothecary during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. His 40k equivalent carries a whole swath of cool gear like the Stormbolter Anathema and Aurorum, the Pilfered Blood Angel's power sword. But this is before all that. He's no main character yet, but I want to maintain that mismatched armor look that makes him feel unique. I started with a Khorne Berserker body, specifically the one with the shouting skull on the leg, which is very similar to his modern appearance. Getting into the medical side, surprisingly, Nartheciums are a tricky item to source from GW kits. There are plenty of third-party options, but in the end I chose to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and pick up the Sanguinary Priest kit. I'll be honest with you, as most kit bashes, maybe this isn't the most cost-effective, but it's fun. Going back to the Sanguinary Priest, I cleaned up the power pack and attached it to his back. It's wider than your average pack and looks a little hefty on Talos, but not so much that it seems totally out of place. Chaos Legionary bits are a bit chunkier than your Firstborn Loyalists models, so they kitbash better with modern Primaris kits. An iconic aspect of the Soul Hunter is his Mark V helm, and an excellent source for these is Tortuga Bay. With a bit of cleanup, it looks fantastic on Talos. Tortuga Bay also makes really good elite proxies for heresy armies. Of course, you didn't hear that from me. Looking at his left leg, the empty holster on his hip could serve as good real estate for more medical bits. I cut away the holster and grabbed the medic's backpack from the Deathcore of Krieg kit to serve as a tool pouch. Once on the model, I decided the vials needed to go. They'd just be hitting his leg like crazy. With the left arm still open, I tried out a few Blood Angel's blade conversions, but couldn't get it quite right. I initially wanted him to be towards the latter end of the heresy where he could have Aurum, but decided to leave it. I don't proxy often, but the Artel W model is looking way better than anything I could kitbash. I cleared out the failed bits and added the dripping knife from the Nemesis Claw kit, positioning it in a way that suggests he's changing hands or as if he had just finished a lunge. It ain't Orem, but it does allude to the bladesmanship he's honed over many wars. The base, though, could use a touch of interest besides my base-ready mix. I was thinking about adding a body to the base, but that's too cramped. So I took an old Mark IV helm that I had chopped up earlier and glued it to the base. The old and roughened green stuff looks like innards that I can later paint with shiny blood. The final trick, and probably the most critical element, is to remove the power stud on his forehead and to make room for the rune gifted to him by his gene father. Little cut, little shave, and that's Talos. My final apothecary is the head honcho of my army, and thus deserves an imposing figure. What better base than my remaining Fabius bile pieces? Of course, we'll need to dial back some of the more identifiable bits, like his face. With his body partially built, I snip away the head and hair as cleanly as I can without damaging the skin cloak beneath. Some of the stitching, especially below the hair, will need to be touched up after the head is clear. To do this, I simply use my hobby knife and carve out grooves of similar size, then sand the edge to a bevel. For the medical device above his heart, I cut away the tubing protruding from the top since I won't be using the original shoulder pad it connects to, being mindful of the connecting tubes under the arm. For our replacement neck and head to seat properly, we'll need to create space for it. Using a 5mm drill bit, I found the best approximation of the torso center and drilled until a clean cavity was created, making sure no loose flakes were left behind to shake around inside the model. Looking back on my previous kit bashes, another teasing I got was that there were no chain glaives to be seen. Well, dipping into the Skin Thief kit, I attached the remaining dual-headed chain glaive. Using a chain glaive on this model especially works because his spider-like tools can do all of the delicate work of a battlefield medic, while his hands are free to do more engaging activities. He's only one of two in my army wielding a chain glaive, and he pops out because of it. I wonder who the other chain glaive user is. A future video, maybe? After adding the standard Puppets of War shoulder pad, I used a spike-studded shoulder pad. It feels like a promoted version of my other apothecaries and gives ample room for hanging trophies. To seal up that gaping hole on the top and give this guy a face, I used the Night Lord's Screecher head. Not only does the hair cover the seam and blend into the coat, but the mouth grill and tubing give this a medical mask sort of appearance. He clearly cares about his health. Not yours, though. With the head in place, he looks wonderfully disheveled. The ragged hair, the mean strut, the flayed skin, I just know he's going to be incredibly fun to paint and cover in blood and grime. Speaking of which... As far as I know, all of these models are legal-ish. It's hard to tell without the rules right in front of me. Seeing that the Primaris Apothecary got moved to Legends and all of the changes happening to the Centurions is disappointing, and I feel for all of the other Horus Heresy players who kind of feel burnt by the new edition, but I like to keep in mind that even though rules may change, a wonderful kit bash of something that you made truly yours, that lasts forever. Until next time, subscribe and happy painting.